Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Big thanks to Bill. We either have to get his last name or where he's from.
Absolutely.
Or maybe both. Bill, if you're listening or watching out there, we want to give you credit.
Yeah.
Just Bill doesn't get it.
Okay, hold on. You should say, like, Bill who wrote in about auto kicking it in, not just a random Bill, because every Bill out there is going to be going,
Tons of
what did
Bills.
I do for the show?
Random Bill, which could be a band name, is funnier.
Random Bill.
Today's guests, including Thomas Drance, standing by, brought to you by Langley Chrysler. Enjoy no-hassle 3-day returns and 30-day exchanges on all used vehicles so you can make sure what you get is just right for you. Don't just love your car, love buying it.
Oh.
At Langley, you okay?
Yeah.
At langleychrysler.com. I know you want to talk about what was behind the Oilers bench yesterday, Rick, but we're going to get to Thomas Drance here. Just before we get to Thomas, though, everybody knew Chris Tanev, when he did play, he played injured. You in that Edmonton series, you have an update.
24 minutes last night, this guy. I don't care. You all these people saying, why is he playing? I'll tell you why he's playing. He's an elite player. He got to that level, and he cares. Torn labrum.
Good Canadian kid.
A good Canadian kid from Toronto. And I tell you, a separated shoulder. He was dealing with a neck sprain surgery next week for Chris Tanev. Still, the stupidest mistake the Canucks ever made was letting that guy go for no reason. But anyways, one of the all-time character guys.
That's saying something, the stupidest mistake they ever made, but I know where you're coming from.
You know what I mean.
Oilers over the Flames, 5-4 in overtime. Joining us now, Thomas Drance from The Athletic. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. The Cam Neely trade's off the hook. The stupidest mistake they ever made. It's letting an over 30 defenseman walk.
Yeah.
For him to have his two best seasons in his early 30s and be completely healthy until this playoffs. Sure, that's the biggest mistake.
Only Levy feels better right now.
Yeah, but Thomas, hold on a second. Neely was a trade. They let this guy walk, didn't make him an offer after 10 years of service. Two totally different things.
Well, it was actually an offer sheet, the modern equivalent of an offer sheet, Rick.
Yeah.
And that's what the Neely trade was. They signed Pettersson, right? Was it Peterson?
Barry Peterson.
Barry Peterson.
And a first rounder.
Danny. I don't know why, but it was and they did that after playing Cam Neely on the fourth line and challenging him to be nothing more than a fighter for most of his NHL career to that point. They lose Thomas Gradin in free agency. They try to replace him. They sign Barry Pettersson to the equivalent of an offer sheet. They protect a bunch of guys ahead of Cam Neely, who's in the NHL Hall of Fame, of course. And Cam Neely breaks out the very next season playing with what centerman? Thomas Gradin.
In Boston. It was.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, people forget that there was a first-rounder involved as well, and that turned out to be Glenn Wesley. Solid veteran defenseman.
Well, and
dark days for the Canucks.
Who they then trade on for
Milan Lucic ended up being Lucic.
A bunch of draft picks. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Harry Sinden was so good.
Yeah. We could go on and on about the history between transactions between the Bruins and the Canucks, but last night's game, Blake Coleman, I know your answer. Goal or no goal?
Clearly a goal, a brutal call. But, I can't get too worked up about the Calgary Flames being eliminated because a forward was deemed to have not kicked the puck in. To have kicked the puck in. This is karma, right? 33 years, the referees finally decided that the Flames kicked it in. They were wrong this time. They were wrong the last time. Flames benefited once, lose out on it this time. Tough way for your season to end, especially with all of the players that the Flames had playing hurt, all they accomplished this season. And yet, can't feel too bad for Calgary. Can't feel too bad for Calgary considering that history.
Jacob Markstrom. 5 games, he did not look like Jacob Markstrom. What did you see?
I didn't think he played very well, boys. And, I heard Kevin Woodley talking about the consensus among goalie coaches is that it looked like he was playing hurt. You look through this series and for me, I mean, by the numbers anyway, we're talking about Calgary Flames team that, on form, probably should have allowed something like 16 goals against and actually allowed 25. That's by the expected goals number. His save percentage was in the 850s. Not going to get it done at this time of year. And it goes to show you, right? Like, goaltending is important. You're not going to win without elite goaltending in the playoffs. But it doesn't mean necessarily that your elite goaltender is going to give you that when the chips are down, right? No one would have seen Mike Smith out dueling Jacob Markstrom. On paper, that looked like a huge edge for Calgary over 7 games or 5 games in this case. That's not always how it plays out, which is why you need that other sort of thing. You need that other item to go your way. And I thought we saw a really good example. I know Jim Rutherford's going to be on after me, and he's going to be talking about details. And I've already seen that interview because of what you guys posted to Twitter. He talks about all the little details you need to win in the playoffs. I thought you saw a really good example of that in Raleigh last night, where the Carolina Hurricanes outshoot the Rangers 34-17, right? 2-1, only allow 7 shots against in the third period when they're leading. And the Rangers have Shesterkin. That should be a huge edge for them in this series, but it kind of doesn't matter when you have that type of quality to fall back on, that quality edge that the Carolina Hurricanes have over the Rangers. They're 1 game away from advancing. Will be an interesting weekend to see if them and the Colorado Avalanche, Rick's least favorite team, can get it done to advance.
Don't get me going. And you told Bruff and Ruff I called you. You called me that day. That's a little, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, listen.
No, we don't.
You called me back.
No. You called me, and we fought about the Avalanche. But anyways, listen. Scott Walker.
Can you believe this, Donnie? Can you believe
that Rick stop. Dhaliwal, I want to ask
Rick Dhaliwal thinks the Colorado Avalanche are here solely because of draft lottery luck.
No, you were bragging about them as a model franchise. They were dead last in the NHL 3 years ago. How's that model?
And
how's that model? Happened? How's that a model franchise?
And then what happened, Rick?
Stop it. Yeah, they got Kale McCarr, a Hall of Fame defenseman, handed to them at 4th overall.
Handed to them. You realize they dropped 3 spots. 3 spots in the draft lottery, Rick.
No, but all their core is drafted, Thomas. That's
a good thing, Rick.
Sorry. They didn't make
Landeskog drafted. All their guys are drafted, but they were dead last in the NHL, Thomas, 3 years ago.
Rick.
And you're bragging about him as a model.
Trade.
Anyways.
Nazem Kadri, great trade. Nichushkin, great value signing. Bowen Byram acquired in a trade.
You mentioned Taves?
Same with Sam Girard. I haven't
Taves?
mentioned Devon Taves yet. Great trade. Unbelievable trade.
Yeah, because the Islanders couldn't afford him. That's why. They gave 2 second-round draft picks up for him.
Sorry. But Rick, that summer, the Canucks also traded with the team that was in cap trouble for a left-handed defenseman, and they got Nate Schmidt, and the Colorado Avalanche got Devon Taves.
Yeah.
Do the Avs not get credit for getting the right guy?
Devon. Anyways, you're also bragging about Florida. They're out. You're bragging about the Maple Leafs. They're out. So give me a break.
What bragging about what? I'm pointing to
how great the Panthers and Leafs are. You always keep talking about how they're the model franchise.
You don't want to cover a 110-point team with an elite offense that has a real chance to win the cup, Rick? You'd rather pretend that the Canucks should just extend and overpay every player on a team that hasn't made the playoffs 6 of the last 7 seasons? Like, what are we talking about? Of course, those are franchise. Those are models.
Can I ask a Canucks question before you took it to the left? Can I get a question in? My goodness. Sure. Are they going to replace Scott Walker in your eyes? Or do you you screwed the whole thing up, the whole segment, Thomas. Do you think
that's Rick's job? Yeah,
do you think they'll replace him, Thomas?
Rick, it's not my fault that your shirt is as distracting as what was behind
the It's a beautiful shirt. I've already had someone in the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox say it's a beautiful shirt. Well, you answer the question. Answer the question.
Will they replace Scott Walker? Well, they sort of already have. Like, they kind of replaced him in season when Brad Shaw took over duties running the penalty kill, right? Looks like he'll reprise that role. Looks like they'll have Brad Shaw run the defense as well. Looks to me like they're going to go back to a 3-man bench. They went to 4 last season, stuck with that even after the coaching change. Some teams do that. Lots of teams run 3. Boudreau's always had 3 guys on the bench. I would expect that to be the case. And, Boudreau told us earlier this week on the Vancast that, he's happy with where the coaching staff is at, and yet conversations are going to continue between Canucks management and Boudreau himself on fleshing out the staff. Certainly a video coach is incoming. That would be a replacement for Darryl Sword, not for Scott Walker. And I would expect them to bring in, at least consider bringing in an eye in the sky, who's not Ian Clark, to also sort of help out. And that's sort of the position that I'm most curious to see what direction the Canucks go in. This is a management group, certainly, that's taken a different tack to filling out in perhaps a more diverse fashion than we're used to, their hockey operations group. I wonder if we could see a similar approach on the coaching staff. It seems wild that there are no women on any NHL coaching staffs right now. Like, that doesn't make sense to me in the year 2022. There's certainly candidates that would be highly qualified to do that role, to do that job. We also know, Rick, that the Canucks cast a pretty wide net, right, in interviewing and pursuing Cami Granato, Emily Castonguay, Rachel Dory was added to the analytics department, but those weren't the only women that the Canucks talked to, interviewed, recruited, right? So I wonder if there's something out there that may pay off yet in terms of adding an additional body to the coaching staff. That's sort of one angle that I'm looking at. I would think that the club will lean toward landing 2 additional bodies for the coaching staff, a video coach and an eye in the sky. But we'll see. Don't think that's a final decision that's been made yet, or at least wasn't at the time that I had good information on it 2-3 days ago. Perhaps something's changed since.
All right.
Before we let you go, Delaney's OK Tiring Langley inbox from Dougie. Please, more Thomas. Great to see Dolly floundering like a fish.
No,
on
I'm
the
not
dock.
floundering like a fish. And second of all, he called me the other day and he was yelling at the top of his lungs about this. We had a big fight.
You just had one now.
We did.
Hey, and
then you should have heard Rick when I told him that Rick basically hung up on me after I said that one of his favorite UFA targets for the Canucks has hands of stone.
No.
Hung up.
I admit when I'm wrong. Your problem is, Thomas, you never admit when you're wrong. It's your biggest problem. And listen, don't call me this afternoon because we're golfing. I'm going to turn the phone off.
Okay, I won't call you this afternoon. We'll have it out on Saturday, or the next time you're having a peaceful walk, I'll be like, call you, and be like, hey Rick, look at that Colorado Avalanche blue line built through trades, baby.
Call him when he's golfing. I'm okay with that.
No, not today. Tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow.
No, I'll give you the go ahead on that. Thanks for this, sir.
Always love being on. Have a good game this afternoon, gentlemen.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah.